네, 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 저는 오늘 요 강연을 소개해드리고 그리고 사실 이 공간, 이 뮤직 라이브러리라는 이 공간을 기획하고 이 공간을 큐레이션하고 있는 DJ 소울스케이프라고 합니다. 반갑습니다. 네. 벌써 3일차 이제 오늘이 마지막 날이고 이제 많이 남지 않았어요. 그래서 좀 더 소중해지는 순간인 것 같은데 이번 세션의 주인공은 다들 알고 오셨겠지만 루카네츠를 모실 예정입니다. 그리고 오늘 강연의 주제는 우리에게 뭐 이제는 누구에게나 익숙한 용어이긴 하지만 사실 우리가 이걸 어떻게 실생활에서 사용을 하고 어떻게 더 환경이 바뀌고 받아들일 것인지에 대해 여전히 궁금한 분야죠. 웹3와 블록체인 기반의 NFT 이런 주제들에 대해서 설명을 하는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. 뭐 다들 아실 테지만 그냥 부연 설명을 하자면 여러분 우리가 지금 아직도 사실 그 우리가 쓰는 웹 환경이 많이 바뀌지 않았죠. 아직도 플랫폼 기반의 그리고 중앙화돼 있는 그런 시스템 기반의 웹2 기반의 환경들을 우리는 아직도 많이 사용을 하고 있는데 제 블록체인 기반으로 그리고 탈중앙화라는 그런 기조 아래 앞으로 많은 것들이 바뀌리라고 생각이 됩니다. 특히나 가장 중요한 부분들은 이것들이 어떻게 실제 기술로 활용을 하게 될지 그리고 어떻게 이런 것들이 우리 생활에 좀 많은 변화를 가져오게 될지가 가장 궁금한 부분이겠죠. 특히나 웹3 환경에서 우리에게 익숙한 그런 사용 실예라고 하면은 그림이나 음악 등 디지털 파일을 NFT 파일로 등록을 해서 탈중앙화된 우리가 직접 소유하고 관리하게 되는 그런 사례를 들 수가 있겠죠. 이런 웹3 세계를 가장 먼저 준비하고 있는 분 중 한 분이 바로 오늘 소개해드릴 루카네츠입니다. 루카네츠는 NFT 파일을 수천 개를 모아서 하나의 브랜드 그리고 하나의 그런 서브컬처가 되게 하는 NFT 프로젝트의 선두주자라고 할 수 있겠습니다. 퍼지 펭귄 프로젝트로 글로벌 웹3 시장에서 인지도를 높인 바 있는 이 루카네츠를 모실 텐데 아직 사실 이런 것들이 좀 기술적인 부분도 중요하기도 하고 이쪽의 커뮤니티성이라는 게 굉장히 중요하기 때문에 오늘 대화를 함께 나눌 대담자 김정준 님도 함께 모셨습니다. 정준 님은 글로벌 블록체인 투자사인 해시드의 제너럴 매니저로 서울과 도쿄를 중심으로 웹3 생태계의 성장을 이끌어가고 있는 분입니다. 두 분 대화를 통해서 웹2와 웹3의 세계가 어떻게 다른지 그리고 웹3의 세계는 우리에게 어떤 모습으로 다가올지 한번 궁금증을 풀어보도록 하겠습니다. 큰 박수로 맞아주세요. 네. 저희 한 가지 정정드릴 게 따로 이렇게 대담을 하는 형태가 아니라 루카네치가 직접 여러분들께 직접 강의를 들려드리고 그리고 질답을 받는 그런 순서로 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 네. 큰 박수로 맞이해 주세요.
Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? I'm super happy to be here. Always a fan of Korea. Korea is a really special place for anybody here who is born and raised or just Korean nationality. You guys should be very proud. It's an amazing country, amazing people. I'm excited to speak with you guys today on pudgy penguins, Pengu, Asia, culture, and all the things that are all encompassing. So I hope we have a good time here. And I see some familiar faces. So I just want to say thank you to everybody in the room who participates in building the Pudgy Penguin brand and community. One of the things that I want you guys to learn who are not familiar with Pudgy Penguins when you leave here, I want you to know it's a family. It's a group of people that all love the Pengu, that want to help people, that want to make people smile, that want to spread love and positivity throughout the world. And very few communities in the world, I think, have a mission as important and prolific as Pudgy Penguins. So to the few community members and team members in the room, just want to say my gratitude is immense, and I know the rest of the gratitude of the entire community is also immense, so thank you. It's a good crowd. It's a small but lively crowd. I think before we get started, I just want to go into what Pudgy Penguins is, what the community is. I think a lot of people don't really understand the mission of Igloo and what we're doing. So I want to introduce to you guys Igloo Inc. It's the company that holds and owns Pudgy Penguins. We are building Web3's first mainstream IP ecosystem and the infrastructure necessary for a new era of brand building. I think as you guys review this presentation, I want you to think how much more different this brand is than even the biggest and best brands like Pokemon and Hello Kitty, amongst the rest, and we'll get into that in a sec. I think one thing that we really pride ourselves on as a team before we get into this is I think we're one of the best digital brand builders in the world, and you will see the proof in the pudding here shortly. Pudgy Penguins, in its simplest form, is Web3's first ever mass market IP brand. These flightless birds are pioneering the crypto consumer-facing revolution and disrupting the traditional IP model. Unlike traditional brands, the holders are the lifeblood of our ecosystem. Our holders are our first edition collectors. They hold Pengu token, and they hold our NFTs. Unlike traditional brands, our brand is hyper-financialized. And early believers, early community members, and early collectors have a role in pushing the success of the brand. And as the brand succeeds, they participate in that success through their alignment. It's almost like if you could have owned a piece of Mickey Mouse in the 1950s, would you have? And if the answer is yes, then I would say, you missed out on Mickey Mouse. So sorry about that. But we're building, hopefully, what we think is the next generation's Mickey Mouse and the internet's Mickey Mouse and Pudgy Penguins Pengu. This is a really important slide. I won't spend too much time here, but it goes into what I mean about what does this next generation brand actually mean and look like in practice. And so let's look at Disney or Sanrio or Pixar. The relationship is very simple, right? You have a brand. That brand has customers. And sometimes those customers turn into community members. And that's really the relationship, right? Whether it's, Sanrio property or a Disney property, the relationship is basically since the beginning of time has been brand, consumer, and customer. And then for the people who really fall in love with the brand, they become community members. When we started building Pudgy Penguins, we were thinking to ourselves, what does crypto actually enable? Like what's different here other than like a story or the hyper-financialization? And it's actually the tech and the IP rights you can give around the tech that I think make it really exciting. And so to kind of layer into the relationship, on the top you have brand, in this case Pudgy Penguins. And then we have our NFT holders and our token holders. And I call these people participants. They're not consumers, they can be consumers, but they have rights and make decisions within the company that regular consumers do not. Naturally, the NFTs are expensive, the tokens have a certain price and financial responsibility to them. So before we get to consumers, And I messed up my slide here a little bit, but before we get to consumers, you have participants. And this is our Web3 community, right? And this Web3 community, if and when Pudgy Penguins becomes the next Hello Kitty or the next Pokemon, these are the people that are going to benefit from it, right? The early believers, the people that have been here and been supporting the brand before billions of people have been doing it. And then the slide here is a little messed up. It should go community, consumer, and the Asia, it should have, somehow Asia got there, but Asia should not be there. Asia will be here shortly. So what you would do is you go from participants to community. And so, this community then evolves from people who are financially aligned to community members. Then you have consumers, right, which is the people who buy our toys at Walmart, the people who buy our products at Target, and the rest of the world. And then you have our builders, the people who actually build on top of the IP. And so it's a different relationship than, I think, the traditional one. On its face, this seems pretty simple. If you actually take a deep dive and think about this critically, what you'll find is you'll come to the same conclusion that I did, which is this is the new invention of how to build IP. It's a reinvention of how to build IP. Because the idea and the question that I ask you guys or the people watching at home or listening to this is ask yourself a question. Everybody here likes IP, whether it's Winnie the Pooh or Shrek or South Park. Everybody here loves IP, some iteration of it, anime, One Piece. My question to you is, if you could participate in the success of one IP versus the other, let's say you love them both equally, or maybe you love One Piece a little bit more than you love Pudgy Penguins, but I could tell you, you could get in early to the Pudgy Penguins story and you could participate in the financial upside of this journey. Which one is more enticing and motivating for your fandom and your time and your energy? One where maybe as the brand succeeds and grows, you become a little more emotionally attached, a little more emotionally invested. Or maybe there's one in Pudgy Penguins where if you see the brand grow, not only do you become more emotionally invested, but you also become financially invested, and the financial upside yields you and your family huge success, right? And if you weigh that option to a lot of people, right, because a lot of people spend a lot of time on fandom, spend a lot of time representing their favorite brands, a lot of money investing in their favorite brands. But where does that all go? Kind of goes one door and out the other, right? Kind of goes into the brand and they end up as consumers and that's it. I mean, you love Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is that you can just buy Mickey t-shirts and that's as far as that relationship will go. But if Pudgy Penguins can become Mickey Mouse, you can be early and you can have your products and your input and your suggestions, and you can make decisions alongside your friends and your colleagues and other community members to help impact the brand. And so when you start weighing the two different decisions, as long as the brands are somewhat with the same integrity and the same quality, I think most people would pick Pudgy Penguins. And this is not only for Pudgy Penguins. Other people can follow this, and I hope they do. Pudgy Penguins is just kind of the first to do this. And the hope is to inspire people and more brands to add a participation layer to how they build brands, because I think it's just that much more advantageous. We won't get in. This is a little bit of a better look. So my previous slide, you see, I got messed up. I need to fix that. But this is a better relationship. One more time, just brand, participant, community, consumers, builders. This is really meaningful. Again, on its face, simple. I remember making this and people in my office's initial reaction was, And I was like, no, this changes everything. So it might seem simple, but do appreciate it, because I think if all brands are built like this, everything is better. I think everything, and not just IP. I think everything is better. Clothing brands, toy brands, IP brands, music, art. It's not just IP is one vehicle of artistry, but there's many. And I think this is applicable to not only consumer brands, but just artists in general. This is kind of how the relationship works. If you just understand how I look at the business that is Pudgy Penguins and the relationship between the ecosystem, it's a little more of a granular breakdown. But we grow the IP. When the IP grows, the community grows. When the community grows, we license and sell more products. When we license and sell more products, we onboard more people into Web3. When we onboard more people into Web3, they become NFT and token collectors. When they become token and NFT collectors, the Web3 brand is a success story. And then more people want to do what Pudgy Penguins did, in which they then go to our chain to do it. So it's a pretty symbiotic relationship. I believe in symbiotic relationships. One part to the participation layer, and we'll touch on it very briefly, but we actually have the ability, for those who are not familiar, if you collect our NFTs, I actually do this thing where I bring the NFT to life via products and collaborations. We do this through a marketplace called Overpass that we built. Basically, I can license your IP through a couple clicks of a button, and within 6 to 12 months, your NFT, your penguin, is now on the shelves making you money. Pretty special, right? And this is a very collector, you only care if you like to collect and you're into the finer things in life. But this is cool, and I think the communities really like this. I know Saucy back there really enjoys this. We'll kind of go over our success up until this point. I think a big thing for us is I think we're leaders in this space. I think we are the leaders of culture in crypto. I think if you want to participate in culture in crypto, we're the brand and we're the company and we're the community to be a part of. I think these are probably the 5 things we've done really well. I think we've absolutely crushed social media. I believe if you're going to be a next generation brand, you have to be social media first. I think not being social media first is a huge mistake. And this has been our competitive edge. We have a really robust toy and collectible ecosystem. Our actual collectibles have been absolutely on fire lately. Saucy and Burko can attest to this, but we used to sell these things for $200. They're selling on eBay for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and they're moving. It's a phenomenal case study. We actually did a collectible collab with a company in Korea called Lotte. I love Lotte. If anybody here knows or works at Lotte, thank you. Amazing company to work with. But our entire toys and collectibles, I think, were the thing that changed the trajectory of this company. And so in a world that is digital only, right, which is the crypto Web3 world, being physical is how you compete. And I think a lot of people thought the metaverse and this Ready Player One would just happen. I knew it wouldn't happen. You have to meet them in the middle. 20 years from now, we will be in metaverses with goggles, and physical won't matter. But until then, it very much does matter. Our next one is GIFs and memes. We are the most prolific sticker and GIF and meme in the West. We're working on that being the case in the East. Lion Cacao, if you're hearing me, help a brother out. But we are the biggest thing in the West in terms of stickers, which I know you guys really appreciate here. One thing that boded well for us is we had NFT growth when nobody else did. I'm proud and honored to say that if you bought any NFT in the last couple of years and it wasn't a pudgy penguin, you probably didn't do too well. I'm sorry about that. But if you did buy some pudgy penguins, you did pretty well. So thank you for your support, and I'm glad I could have reciprocated it. And just our content. Again, I just want to make people feel good. I just want to make people smile, whether you're in Korea or Tokyo or China or America or Europe or Russia. I just want to make you feel good. And if I can make you feel good, you'll want to be a part of this brand. You'll want to be a part of this community. So those are our 5 verticals. Instagram's pretty big. 60 million likes, hundreds of thousands of comments, 1.5 billion views, 2 million followers, the penguins everywhere. But I didn't mention it in this slide. It's really like on Instagram across all of our accounts. So only the biggest Pudgy Penguin fans know, or if you work at the company, you know. But we have like 20 Instagram accounts. It's not just one. This is just one. But you know, we have Kind Pengu, we have Pudgy Penguin, we have so many. And if you added it all up, it's probably close to like 10 million followers. I need to update this slide. This is the most impressive one. This is the stickers. Every day, Burko, how many views a day are we getting every day on stickers? 900 million every day. 900 million impressions just on the stickers every day on the Pudgy Penguin IP. I tell people that Pengu's going to flip Doge. I don't want to get this financialized. I don't want to turn this into that. But when you're getting 900 million views a day, growing 10, 15% month over month, it's not if, it's when. Man, Walmart, Amazon, this was a big one. I mean, I say this a lot in the West, but obviously we're in Korea, so I'll give the Korean audience a little bit of insight. But Pudgy Penguins in Q4 of, I think, 2023 was in 3,000 stores across the country, front and center, via a pallet, basically a big stand in the middle of the store that was Pudgy Penguins. And the only brands that were there in the same pieces of real estate, and even today on Walmart shelves, it's Pudgy Penguins, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's Star Wars, it's Barbie, and it's Pudgy Penguins. And this was probably, I think everyone would agree, I think this was the moment that changed everything for everybody within the community. This was the deal, because nobody else had done it. And nobody else had come close, really, right? Everybody had said they'd push Web 2 adoption, Web 2, Web 3, they merged the worlds. Nobody actually did it like this. And the beauty about this product specifically, I'll actually harp on it, is every toy comes with a QR code. You scan that QR code, you get a little blockchain wallet, make some traits. It's not just, selling toys at Walmart, it's pushing blockchain technology to the masses via toys. And not only that, every toy that we sold was an NFT from a holder. We went to our holders and we said, why draw new penguins? We're going to take your penguins. We're going to basically pick them out of a group of submissions, and we're going to bring them to life, and we're going to sell them. And so there's a couple hundred holders out there who have their products that have been turned into life. And every time one of those products sells, they get a royalty in perpetuity. Again, brand, participant. Doesn't sound that different or extravagant, but it's never been done. It's never been done where I can sell something to somebody who's not the owner of the company and say, hey, your IP, your character, your identity, your thing, your JPEG, you can own that, you can collect that, and you can participate, and, if you get selected, it can make you money. Never been done until Pudgy Penguins, so pretty cool, pretty cool. I love this one. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but there's a thing called the PayPal Mafia. The PayPal Mafia is like Peter Thiel, David Sachs, Elon Musk. Basically, the executive team at PayPal all went and built some of the world's biggest businesses. And crypto's version of the PayPal Mafia is called the PengPal Mafia. So the PengPal Mafia is basically a visual representation of the chads that is the Pudgy Penguin community. And so this matters for a couple reasons. I think the first reason is when you ask everybody in crypto, everyone says community is very important, probably the most important. But I have to ask you, if you're a part of a community and that community has a bunch of angry people who are not working, who are just complaining, not providing anybody any value, waiting for somebody to deliver them value. It's not a cool community. No one really wants to be a part of that. I think a good reference here would be the cafeteria. All of us remember the cafeteria from middle school and high school. And when you entered the cafeteria after grabbing your lunch, you would go and pick a table. And everybody wants to be a part of the cool kids table, right? The table where you think there's maybe the football player or the pretty girls or the smart people or the people who share the same interests as you. There's the cool people table. And crypto communities are no different. The crypto sphere is a big giant cafeteria. And when you are looking to join a community and participate within a crypto community, you want to join the cool kids table, right? You don't want to join the non-cool kids table. And the cool kids table in crypto is the Pudgy Penguin community. And it's partly because of the PengPal Mafia. So the PengPal Mafia is some of the most important founders, executives across the board in crypto. You won't find a liquid fund, a market maker, a top consumer app, a top exchange, a top DEX, a top DeFi protocol, a top messaging protocol. There's not a single place in crypto you can find where there's a high integrity company where somebody on the executive team is not Pudgy Penguin aligned. And this is super important. Because if you actually, again, on its face, you're like, yeah, that's cool, but think about the implications. Let's say you're an engineer looking for work. You know what's going to get you a job faster? Not that college degree, a Pudgy Penguin PFP. And you might think, oh my God, that's such a ridiculous statement. I promise you it's not. I promise you it moves the needle. It makes all the difference. And it's across the board. Even me, I catch myself. People reach out with business proposals. You're not wearing a Pudgy PFP, I'm probably not reading it. You wear a Pudgy PFP, I'll open the proposal and I'll see if it makes sense. I've actually spent a lot of money just because they had a Pudgy PFP, and I was like, I can't turn them away. But that's anecdotal to me, but you go to Brian Pellegrino from Layer Zero, one of the most important messaging protocols in crypto, and you're wearing a Pudgy PFP, and Brian's has 10 people he's about to hire and only can pick one, and you're one, and you have a Pudgy PFP and the other 9 don't, I know Brian well enough. And you're within the same skill set. Now he's very much merit-based, so he's always going to pick the best engineer, but I promise you he's looking twice at the guy with the Pudgy profile picture. Nansen, the same thing. All the topics. And I asked people who are founders, I'm like, are you biased towards Pudgy Penguin holders? It's like, yeah. Tend to be a smarter group. But you kind of did something right if you ended up with a Pudgy PFP, which is also, the nature of the asset's a little expensive. So it's like, what are you doing again with that profile picture? But the PengPal Mafia, I hope everybody here pursues at some point their entrepreneurship wants and needs and can become a entrepreneur and founder within the Peng Pao Mafia, even people who work for me. I'm doing a bad job if 10 years from now the same people who work for me work for me. I say that. I don't know if I've told some of the people back there who I do work for me, but that's true. I believe that. I want to empower you, and when people leave Pudgy Penguins to go pursue something, nothing makes me more proud, and hopefully I can play my role in growing the Peng Pao Mafia. And I can tell you that if you're a founder or you're part of this group, we all help each other. We all help, whether it's marketing or TVL or media or problems that we need to solve, data solutions. It's a really special place to build in crypto if you're a part of this community. We talked about Pudgy Toys a little bit, right? Distribution. So Pudgy Penguins, this is a little dated slide, not that dated, but we're in more places. These were just the big ones from a year ago. But we're in over 10,000 retailers across the world. 10,000 doors hold Pudgy Penguins. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool if you ask me. And I hope to get that number to 100,000. And we distribute well. One thing we do well at Pudgy Penguins is distribute. And we market our toys well, so we get impressions. You know, this is just on toys. We get impressions. And looks like we'll probably do about $25 million in toy revenue this year. Pretty good. Will be better. Can be better. Aaron and Cheryl will make it better. Kidding. But we'll get there. We've got a lot of team members in the audience, for those who don't know. Aaron, Cheryl, Saucy, Burko, a bunch of crew. Sorry, Vera, I know there's a bunch. Sorry. Don't want to make this about the team. Yeah, as we grow the IP and the community grows, our licensing and products grow. A couple big partners. WME is probably the most notable. WME, I think, actually works with Hyundai in some capacity. I'm pretty familiar with that. Some of our partners. You know, one that we actually don't get enough credit for, we always talk about the toys. It's actually the arcade machines. Those ones were incredibly hard. So in America, we have arcades. In Asia, we actually need to, it's actually a topic of discussion we should discuss to scale these in Asia. We have these arcade machines in there, and Dave & Buster's and Chuck E. Cheese and Top Golfs. And I don't know the exact number, but it's getting close to like 500 arcades. I'm really proud of that. Because everyone just talks about our toys. We're in arcades, man. We got a big arcade machine. And a ton of them. And we're selling them. And people are loving them. And arcades are special because they're where people go to escape. And I really appreciate escapism. But that's a different philosophy for a different time. Pudgy Penguins is the fastest growing brand in crypto, hands down, unequivocally, non-negotiable. No one can debate that. But we need to become the fastest growing brand in the world. How we get there? Need to do a movie. Need to do a TV show. Need to do gaming. Need to ship Pudgy World. Need more licensing and collabs. Need more product expansion. Need more social content. Need more everything. Food and bev. This is big for me. I really want to win. If you were to ask me if there's one thing I want, one place you guys could win, food and beverage, Pudgy. Everyone's a little pudgy, even if you're skinny. Everyone's a little pudgy. I want to win in food and bev. Look how good that backpack looks in that Polar Pop. I feel like Celsius should do a deal. I see Saucy smiling. He agrees. But yeah, these are the product lines that we want to focus on. Some of the places we're already in. We talked about this. Asia. We'll close it off on Asia. Here's my stance. And I say this honestly. I wouldn't say this if I didn't believe this. But I grew up in Los Angeles. Los Angeles in the West is one of the hubs of culture. It's Los Angeles, New York, maybe Miami, probably not. Los Angeles and New York, though. And I took a lot of pride growing up knowing that in Los Angeles, when you created a trend, the world picked it up. We were the trendsetters. Same thing with New York. New York, for a very long time, set the trend. We did something in New York, the rest of the world saw it, and they followed. The paradigm has shifted recently, and as Koreans, you should be very proud, for some of you guys who are Koreans, because Koreans are actually starting to set the trend. Korea and Japan, and the Japanese specifically, things happen now in Korea and Japan, and now the rest of the world picks it up. Now Los Angeles picks it up, and New York picks it up. Used to not be that way. And so the East is now the custodian of culture. And it's always been a huge, huge lever in culture, obviously, but it never was so clear that it said it, right? And even even the Sanrio story would tell you that Western cultures had a big impact on IP specifically, but that paradigm is shifting. And I think not only is the future of IP in the East, it already is, but I think the future of culture is as well. I also think the future of crypto is in the East. And I'm very confident on that statement. Crypto in the West, though we have the big institutions and the presidency, the energy is not the same as it is in the East. And so my conclusion is as follows. I think Asia is the epicenter of cute, and Pudgy Penguins is the #1 cute IP in crypto, and one of the biggest cute new IP brands in the world. And my goal is to merge the East and the West, Web 2 and Web 3, and to build the biggest, best penguin brand the world's ever seen. And scaling Pengu in Korea. So what have we done up until this point in Korea? Well, we've had 2 partnerships. We've had Lotte. So we did Lotte Collectibles, hopefully doing more things with Lotte. An amazing group to work with. We also have a partnership with Line Friends. So you'll see some Pengu products in Line stores throughout Korea. Huge fan of Line. And there's one more, but I'm not going to share it today. Just have something to look forward to. That's my presentation today.